Epic Universe is upon us. We have about one more year until we can finally experience everything the park has to offer. Every land, every ride, every show, it's all going to be open in 2025. However, there is one thing I am not looking forward to with Epic Universe. Something I'm going to loathe about this park, and it's one aspect that plagues every theme park. You hate it, I hate it, the lines. The long, extensive, slow-moving lines. It's unavoidable, you almost always have to wait, but the question is, how long will the lines be? Will they be tame? Or, more realistically, will they be out of control? There's no question that Epic Universe is going to receive a large amount of tourists when the park opens. That's the entire objective of the park. Universal have been working on this park for years for one reason, to scale their attendance. If we look at Universal's attendance report, primarily looking at the OG park, Universal Studios, they've been on a sharp incline since 2011, nearly doubling their attendance numbers from 6.04 million people per year to 10.92 million people per year. Sure, there's been a bit of stagflation. Recently in 2023, attendance has gone down to 9.75 million people for that year. But even with minor drops, the Universal parks are still one of the most visited places in the world. In terms of theme park numbers, Islands of Adventure is ranked number 5 for attendance, and that's including international. In 2022, they received over 11 million guests. The only parks that beat out Universal properties are the Tokyo Disney parks and the original Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. But even then, Universal, they're already climbing to spot number 3. There is a minor deviation of about 1 to 1.5 million people to take the number 3 spot. Basically what I'm saying is Universal, they've been growing. And they have been growing for the better part of a decade. In Epic Universe, all that park's gonna do is pour more gasoline on that fire. So I have to ask, how many people are going to be visiting Epic Universe in 2025? How many people are going to be visiting 2 years from now, a decade from now? And how will this large attendance impact the guest experience? Because the one thing that no one likes about a theme park is the lines. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to Universal or Disney, and I've just been trapped in a long line that doesn't move. I'm getting frustrated, I'm watching all the fast pass people zoom by me, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, I am not having the best time. So I fear when Epic Universe opens, will I have that kind of experience? Will the lines be so long to where I just can't manage to do everything in one day? There's a good possibility, but I won't know for sure until I look at the numbers. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look at every ride Epic Universe is getting, and I'm gonna try to predict the wait times. Specifically, how would the lines look if it's a slammed, overcrowded, overpacked day? And would it be possible to ride every e-ticket attraction without buying a second day? Well, let's find out. So the first thing we have to consider about Epic Universe is what kind of attendance are they planning to pull? Will a new Universal park get the same, higher, or lower attendance than its other properties? At first, you would probably assume that it would be higher than something like Islands of Adventure, but that might not necessarily be true. Something to consider is, when is the park opening in 2025? We know it's opening that year, but we don't know what time of the year. Epic Universe doesn't actually have a concrete opening date. On the Universal website, it just says opening 2025. Not summer, not late, not April, just 2025. The only thing that we know is going to open related to Epic Universe is 2 hotels, Stella Nova and Terra Luna Resort. They are going to be opening in January and February of next year. The actual park? No clue. If we go under the conservative assumption that Epic Universe will open in summer 2025, there is still a lot to consider. Will it be early or late summer? Because if it's late, like in August, that will severely affect their attendance report. Summer is a big time for theme parks. That is their peak season. So if Epic Universe chooses to open late in the summer, that will severely affect them. Guests usually can't go that time. School starts, people have to go back to work. August usually has a 2-week window, compared to months like June and July, where people's free time is completely open. So there's a possibility that Epic Universe won't even hit its stride until 2026. Besides December or spring break, its next peak season won't be until the following summer. And there's also the assumption that maybe people don't want to go opening year. Maybe they want to hold off a while, wait 1 or 2 years. These are all factors to consider that will affect their daily and yearly attendance. But even if we ignore all of that, I still need to find a close estimate to the park attendance to more accurately find the park's future wait times. To do this, I'm going to compare Epic Universe to a similar park in Orlando that's close enough in scale to hopefully find a near one-for-one. And the park I chose is Disney's Hollywood Studios. Originally, I was going to go with Islands of Adventure. It seemed more fair to compare a Universal Park to a Universal Park over a Disney park. However, Islands just has more rides than Epic Universe, so it wouldn't feel like a fair comparison. Epic has 11, Islands has 18, compared to Hollywood Studios where they also have 11. Along with the fact they have similar numbers in e-ticket attractions, that being rides that are more higher end. For instance, Hollywood Studios, it has 6 e-tickets, that being Tower Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Mickey and Minnie's, Rise of Resistance, Millennium Falcon, and Slinky Dog Dash. While Epic Universe, it has Ministry of Magic, Monsters Unchained, the Donkey Kong Roller Coaster, Mario Kart, the How to Train Your Dragon Roller Coaster, and Stardust Racers. Every other ride after the premier attractions is D-ticket or below, like the Carousel or the Wolfman Roller Coaster. If for some reason you don't think Hollywood Studios is the best one-for-one comparison, remember Hollywood Studios attendance is 10.9 million. Islands of Adventure is 11.025 million. So even if Hollywood wasn't the best pick, it wouldn't really matter. But now let's get into the attendance. If we pick Hollywood Studios as our prime comparison, would it be possible that Epic Universe will pull in numbers of 10 million its first year? The answer is no, because again, we don't know when the park's opening. If it opens halfway through the year, it's not going to pull those numbers. I'm guessing it's going to range between 4 to 5 million. Maybe somewhere that's half Hollywood Studios attendance, but no way it's going to be 10 million off the bat. The following year, it's possible it can get 10 million, maybe a little more. However, I don't see it succeeding other parks like Magic Kingdom. Epic Universe, it may be the newest player in Orlando, but it's not going to top Magic Kingdom. That park will always be king. But despite that, if we go on our estimate that Epic Universe will receive maybe an annual attendance of 10 million in the eventual future, what will the daily attendance be? If we take the average, we get a daily attendance of 30,000 people with a standard deviation of plus or minus 5,000 people, just to be on the more conservative side. If this number is somewhat accurate, we can try to get a baseline understanding of how long the lines will be. Now, when you think of a new park with new attractions, you're probably expecting wait times of around 4-5 hours, or even Hagrid's hours of 12 when that first opened. It's a scary possibility, sure, but I don't see that being the case. Remember, when parks like Universal open a new attraction and they get 12+ hour wait times, it's because they're opening a new ride in an old park, which means when that new attraction opens, everyone's going to go to it because they've probably ridden everything else. Epic Universe and all their rides, on the other hand, are completely new. So there's no one select new ride that everyone's rushing towards. Everything here is something everyone hasn't experienced before. I don't see one ride having such a high wait time compared to everything else. I imagine that every e-ticket attraction is going to have a similar wait time. So the only thing to find out is what will that average wait time be. If we go back to comparing Epic Universe to Hollywood Studios, I'm going to pick 3 different wait times from each of their e-ticket attractions. Then I'm going to average them together to find a singular wait time that can be applied to every e-ticket. To be fair, I'm going to grab the 3 different wait times from different times throughout the year, 1 where the attendance is low, and 2 from where the attendance is high. And I'm going to pick the wait time at midday, when the crowds are most busy. Then once I average it, I'm also going to put all the wait times in a standard deviation calculator, so we can account for any unexpected variables. When I do this, pulling 3 different days from the calendar and all their wait times, specifically December 24th, August 20th, and March 15th. 3 days that involved a holiday, a typical day, and spring break. When I take the average of all the wait times from these 3 days from all the e-ticket rides, I get an average time of 85 minutes, with a standard deviation of plus or minus 20 minutes. So the wait time can vary between 65 and 105. Again, the numbers are based on the times I got at Hollywood Studios. I took all their e-tickets and averaged them. Do I think this is comparable to Epic Universe and what we will see there? Honestly, I think so. It's not much different than peak season wait times at most theme parks in Orlando, and considering that it is a new park, I don't see it vary too much. The question remains, however, could you do all e-ticket rides in one day? Well, if we assume they all have an average of 85 minutes, that would be 510 minutes of your time, which is about 8.5 hours, but let's make it around 10 hours to account for walking around or maybe grabbing a snack, and avoiding any D-ticket rides or below. If you just want to do the main attractions, then theoretically, yes, you can do all the rides in one day. Not to mention that the 85 minutes, it's not standard for the entire day. Remember, theme parks have a trend when it comes to wait times, where at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, the wait times are lower. That's because people are funneling in the park and funneling out of the park. So no matter what, no matter how high the wait time is, it will go down. If we look at the average wait time for any park, they will all have this trend. This is known as a Gaussian curve or a bell curve, where at the beginning of the day, wait times will rise, it will fluctuate throughout the day, and at the end, it will lower. So even if the 85-minute wait time sounds like a lot, trust me, it's not going to be like that forever. But now you know, when you go to Epic Universe, if you plan your day correctly, and hopefully there's no downtime for the rides, you can, theoretically, do everything. Or you know what? There's always the Fast Pass option.